If we move, and as and when we move to level 3 alert level, within 2 to 3 weeks after that, we will then have the beginning of the phasing in of 33% of the students. That's what we're looking at TUT this morning, how ready they are. We are there now. Last time when I spoke, we were not there. We are there now. And we did outline. I don't want to be like I'm wasting your time, but it's important that we remind ourselves. I did indicate which students, which first 33% of the students are going to return. And we said we're going to prioritize final year students, as well as postgraduate students needing laboratory equipment. And I outlined the different levels. And we've also made provisions that various institutions can adjust as to which students they may prioritize within that framework. But where they adjust, they will have to get our concurrence as the department, because, as we always say, remember, we are trying to finish and save the academic year, but primarily also we must save lives, which is very important. Now, on return to residences, I would like to urge all our institutions to ensure that at all material times they follow the national guidelines when deciding on the return of students to residences, in line with the numbers that can be accommodated to enable physical distancing, the handling of communal spaces, hygiene requirements, and dining hall arrangements. Now, all institutions also must ensure that students identified to reintegrate into campuses must include specific groups of students who are living with disabilities, who are not able to access connectivity where they live, or are living in circumstances where studying is difficult. There has also been a concern that has been raised as to what happens with the rental or student accommodation now that students are not in residences. We have open discussions with private providers of student accommodation, as well as with all institutions, that they need to open a discussion with the providers of student accommodation so that they can reach an understanding. Because we don't want a situation where students feel they've paid but they've lost their money because they've not been staying in residences. Also, we are trying by all means to ensure that there is certainty on the part of the private providers of student accommodation as to what is going to happen in future. But we expect institutions to play a leading role, much as the department we are trying to provide a framework. For instance, the framework we are providing, if you take TUT, if TUT says, at this rate, of course, if nothing gets worse, because we can plan, but things get worse, we'll have to change. At this rate, the academic year is going to finish in January, not in November. Therefore, what deal do we need to make in terms of rent for students and other things in order to cater for this academic year, which will finish in January? As we proceed, we will be making the necessary announcement, but the institutions themselves will be making announcement, because as a department we can only provide a framework, but individual institutions. That's why it's very important for students to keep contact with their own institutions at all times. On TVET colleges, our phased-in TVET colleges tentative academic calendar remains as previously announced. For the Level 3 lockdown alert, it provides for the following, just as a reminder, that for engineering students, NATED engineering students, N6 and N3, the return has been 10th of June, N5 and N2, 15th of June, N4 and N1, 22nd of June. NATED Business Studies, return N6, 25th of June, N5, 29th of June, N4, 6th of July. And NCV students, the return that is planned is 13th July for NCV Level 4, 20th July for NCV Level 3, and 27th of July, NCV Level 2. And a campus-based approach will be applied where colleges are affected by different lockdown level. But colleges also continue to use textbooks, e-guides, past question papers, and uploaded YouTube videos to further assist students. That's why the zero-rated website, in the case of those who will access online, also becomes helpful. Now, the reality is that where we are not ready, let's not put people's lives at risk. We would rather adjust. That is very important because our primary goal is to save lives. We know it's inconvenient. We know it's threatening people in terms of feeling that what they want to do, they may not achieve it. But where we are not ready, we are not going to open.